Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to TechGig webinar series, an endeavor to empower techies. Today's webinar is the 8th in the series and will throw light on user experience design process for product development. Today's webinar will be conducted by Ms. Sonali Agrawal, CEO at East Village Interactives. Ms. Agrawal has over 8 years of experience and has traversed the journey from being a front-end designer to user experience design consultant. With masters from National Institute of Design and a diploma from New York Film Academy, Ms. Agrawal has worked on a variety of web-based products like portals, applications, as well as softwares. She is also the director at MobiQuick.com, a telecom startup, as well as a visiting faculty at IILM School of Design. The presentation will continue for the next 45 minutes and your questions will be taken in the last 15 minutes. Meanwhile, you can post your questions on techgeek.com or through the chat available in the webinar software. Now, without further ado, I introduce to you our guest speaker, Ms. Sonali Agrawal.
Hello, good evening everyone, and it's a pleasure being here. You can, as Akanksha said, post your questions at the end of the seminar. I'm just going to start it now. So the presentation plan, we will go through all of these topics. We will just go through a brief overview of what we think is user experience design. Then we will look at new online product development cycle or the existing product release management. We will also look at interaction of UXD, that's the user experience design team with various departments and groups within a company. We will list down the documents and specifications that are required throughout the product development lifecycle. So what is user experience? I think there is a lot of confusion in today's market about, what is UI and how is it different from experience, and how do we interchangeably use it, or should we use it, or there's no particular definition given to both of them. According to us, what we feel is UI is the front-end layer that the user interacts with. But to generate this layer, there's a lot of technology, architecture, strategy that is involved in building that layer. At the same time, the interface layer also delivers you what we call the customer experience that the company intends to provide in their product. Now, when we talk about customer experience, it could be as simple as communication going out to you on the screen saying, okay, we understand this problem, we will get back to you on this, or being empathetic with the user's problems on a screen-to-screen basis. You will see a lot of products that have very good experience in terms of whenever you are in a problem on a screen, they provide you support at the right time, or they would provide an opportunity to send out your questions. Or let's say the interface layer itself is very communicative, that you do not have a problem throughout the task that you're performing. The role of marketing in the experience format sort of communicates. See, we feel that there are a lot of good products that might be existing in the market, but you can only know of a good product through good marketing. And this also initiates the experience of the product. So you've read in the magazine about a good product. They make certain promise in the marketing or the advertisements that you've seen. Unless the product sort of delivers that promise to you, you do not feel that the experience was complete or satisfactory. At the same time, what is the role of support in experience? We feel that support should always be trained and should always be there to understand what the problem is from your end. We've all experienced these problems when we call up on a support helpline, let's say, to our telecom service provider, and we are put in a hold, or let's say there are a lot of call transfers, and to every person you have to explain what the problem was. Now, if all of these issues are resolved or thought of from the very beginning, the user experience will enhance for the product that you're dealing with. So when we take all of these components together, and that's where we feel the user experience has been delivered. So for us, we use user interchangeably with customer and not just with UI, that is the user interface layer. When it comes to UXT consulting, the following are the deliverables that generally one goes through. The first are the workflows. Now, in every situation in a product, everything is divided into a certain number of tasks and workflows. Um, if the task or the workflow is made easier, you feel that the experience was better. Or you face little less problems in completing a task. That's where you say the workflow was simpler and more satisfactory. So we, in our user experience design consulting, help companies to understand that these workflows have to be simplified. Now this simplification might come with, it need not be that you reduce the number of clicks. There are a lot of situations where we do not advise reducing the number of clicks, and number of clicks do not for us form any sort of benchmark defining an experience or the UI standard of a product. We feel that as long as the user can perform the task with minimum problems, the workflow is good. The next deliverable is wireframes. These are generally grayscale diagrams of your product. This is where all the brainstorming or the workflows that are converted into actual visuals are done. Once you go through the wireframe stage, you're in a better position to understand what the product will eventually look like, or what the product will have or contain as features that you're trying to offer to your users. Wireframes is a must for every user experience design exercise, because this is where everybody comes together and puts their brains together and gives you solutions for a particular task. Product experience consulting, like in my last slide also I mentioned that if you simplify a lot of related activities to your product, where your support is good, your messaging is good, you understand where the user might have problem and you extend the help at the right time, that enhances the product experience of the entire, let's say, product. The next factor of user experience design is the graphics. So this is popularly known as the GUI, or the graphic user interface. The GUI is where we figure out the look and feel aspect, which gels with the branding, or which gives a personality to the UI that you are planning. Prototyping is where we convert the GUI stage into actual clickable screens. So these prototypes could be anything related to HTMLs. They could be HTML files, or they could be Flash files, or they could be files dependent on the kind of platform that you're trying to work on. Usability testing is required at every stage of user experience design, just to ensure that the product that you're trying to build is very usable and user friendly. So at a wireframe stage, you might want to do paper prototyping and to check out what is the response of your users. Not every time would you go out to your users and test those things. So you could internally check how from one screen to the other is the content flowing, or the communication flowing, or the screens moving. So also, now that we are so we through with the overview of user experience design, we will get into what kind of different products that exist in the market. So we think that there are three types of innovations that are going on in the market right now. One is a service or a product. It's a new product, new service, but based on existing technology. When I say technology, I just mean that there is no effort in creating a new kind of technology, but you're using probably an existing language, or you're using the existing technology and pushing its limits to design a better service or a better product. For example, if you were in the business of, let's say, booking a ticket, your new service could be you're also booking a hotel. So how do you manage the user experience from that point onwards? You probably using the same technology, but it's a new service that you're extending to your customers. Innovation in business process. Now, what this means is that there was a way of going about a certain task flow, but now because you have better user experience, or let's say better technology, the steps or the botheration of performing that task has decreased. For example, you will notice a lot of sites these days do not prompt you to log in all the time. They will automatically create a guest login for you, or a spy login for you, where all you have to do is enter your email and the password, and you can log into the site. And most of the times they store this information so that you don't have to keep entering this information all the time. I'll give you an example. When you go to LinkedIn, you can do everything in LinkedIn without logging in, but when you accept an invite or you send a message, that's where you're asked to fill in your password. So the business process has been simplified by simple introduction of either good technology or good thinking that has gone into the managing of this business process. Third is new technology or technology-led innovation. I think I'll just hold on for a second. Okay. Yeah. So the third thing is new technology or technology-led innovation. Now this is where I think this particular section is not something that we will go over in this presentation. So we will only look at point 1 and 2 and how the product development cycles in these two scenarios are affected. Where the product is led by technology, the technology sort of takes leads the user experience team to understand, okay, what the technology can deliver and what can be done within the purview of this technology. Okay, so now we are entering into the second phase of our presentation, where we see, okay, if you have a new product idea, where does a user experience design team come into picture? Usually what happens is, and this is what we've experienced in our work, is that a lot of entrepreneurs want to go ahead with technology, build something, and then build the experience layer over it. But this should not be the case. We always advise that you should involve a user experience person at the very beginning of the product. You should be, the management over here can be used with entrepreneur interchangeably. The entrepreneur must explain the product vision to the user experienced person, and then let the user experience designer guide them or come up with solutions which they feel are good. Eventually all online products turn into screens, and there is a certain task flow that you have to take care of. Now user experience design people will always be in a better position to help you then, because they will keep simplifying the task for you from a user perspective, or they will question you from a user perspective. So all a management person must do is just explain what the vision is, what are the potential markets, what are the revenue projections that you're looking at, and what are the timelines for launch. And considering all of that, the user experience design team must come up with certain ideas that can be explored on these lines. Once you've explained the vision, the management has explained the vision, there's certain amount of validation that should come from the technology standpoint in terms of whether what the management is thinking is technologically possible, or you would need an involvement of let's say a new technology in this. In case the product already exists and you are trying to create a new release, this is where you need to involve a lot of departments from the company. So from a management side, again, the new product vision should come. What do they want in the new release? Why do they want this new release? They should include review reports from all teams in terms of, what was the review from customer care, what was the review from marketing, what was the review from engineering. They should include, again, what are the new markets or potential markets that they're trying to capture. The revenue projections must be very clear for the team. And what is the timeline for launch? Timelines are always very important and critical in every business, because everything is eventually adjusted according to the time that you have. Customer care is very important at this point of time when you are looking at a new product release, or let's say a new release of an existing product. Uh, these are the people who already know what the problems are, and why do people call them, or why do people get in touch with them, and what are the kind of problems that they report to them. So a detailed remote report from the customer care department is extremely important, where they can list down, okay, what these are the problems or the issues that the customers have been calling in from, and these should be taken care of in the next release. The marketing team is responsible to launch marketing campaigns for the product. Now, their response, their input in terms of what was the response to the last marketing campaign, what did they observe, how did the campaign perform, what is the brand perception right now, and what are the expectations from a marketing standpoint that should be covered in the new release. From an engineering, I just beg your pardon, over here we put TBD, but over here what we wanted to explain was the engineering needs to verify that were there any technical issues, or were there any performance issues in the product that were not taken care of in the last release that need to be taken care of now. So all of these things are communicated to the user experience design team, and based on which they conduct a usability testing. Next step of the development cycle should be the management and the user experience design team must analyze all of the problems listed in the last slide and come up with a problem definition document. They must define what are the key issues that they need to address in the new release. And this is very important, as this sort of sets the theme for the entire release. What are we trying to do in this release is very important to be specified. Management also needs to sit with the marketing team and decide what is the one core message that will now go out to the audience, or let's say to the customers or to the potential customers in this release. Once this message has been decided, the user experience, it's a responsibility of the user experience design team, or let's say of the entire company, to make or to bring the product up to the level where it meets this promise that has been made to the customer. Again, all the departments such as management, customer care, marketing, engineering, they give their requirements which are then collated in a functional requirement document and given to the user experience design team. The user experience design team at this point helps each one of them identify their problems and put them into a document form which can be further used. Once you have a broader functional specification document, what can happen is that the user experience design team will start with asking questions in terms of why are these requirements being asked for, what are the observations, what can be done about these requirements, do we need to research in a certain areas to come up with the proper outcome or take decisions based on research, and eventually what will be the revised sitemap. Now the revised sitemap, the reason why we put it here is that in terms of in any product, in any online product, you have a certain sitemap where you identify the architecture that each section would further have these categories or links and so on. So how is this sitemap being changed now based on the specifications gathered so far? Once all of these specifications are put together by the user experience design team, they are again put forward to management, customer care, marketing and engineering, where they do a second round of review and feedback and also identify research input areas. Then the role of user experience design team starts full-fledgedly. They identify, now they have received the final specifications from all the teams. Now they start identifying user scenarios. They build workflows based on user scenarios. They build wireframes where everything in terms of options, scenarios and user UI elements, behavior, content, everything is identified and put together. This in turn sort of becomes like a functional specification document that will be distributed to the technical team, to the marketing team eventually, and to the design team. And this might also carry some design specifications which are need to be considered by the GUI team, that's the graphic user interface team. Once you have the overall specifications that were prepared by the UX team, the management and the engineering analyzes those specifications from a timeline perspective. What can be met within these timelines, within the given timelines by the management should be kept in mind. This overall specification document is then filtered into the actual specification for launch. There might be a lot of features that might get skipped because of the timeline issues, which can be taken care of in the next launch. But these are decisions that the management or the engineering have to initiate and take care of. The GUI team is given both the overall specifications and the specifications for launch with timeline, for the simple reason that the designs that they now prepare have to be scalable from all perspectives. They know that eventually all of these specifications have to be met. Hence the design cannot just cater to only specifications for launch. Design should be scalable to eventually meet features that might come along from time to time. Once the team is through with GUI, we recommend a click-through prototype and usability testing, after which we again recommend a final click-through prototype. We will also discuss where all we need to do usability testing and at what stage in the next slide. Yeah. So from a user experience design perspective, usability testing has to come before start of any phase. If the product is new, the usability testing from should be done on a competitor's side to understand what are the issues that the competition is facing. If there is no product or this is absolutely a fresh idea, then scenarios should be generated and tested whether these things are being understood by the users or not. We recommend usability testing after wireframes. That could be either paper prototype, or if you're using a sophisticated wireframe tool, that could also be a click-through wireframe testing. Tools like Axior allow you to do that. So if you do wireframes, or even PPTs allow you to do that. If you're doing your wireframes in PPT or Axior, you can have a click-through prototyping from the very beginning of the process. Some amount of usability testing should be done after the graphic design phase. This is very important because some aspects might be clear at the wireframe stage, but when they get converted into design elements, it might not be as clear to the user. So one needs to check whether the essence of the product that was envisaged is not getting missed. Then we recommend a thorough testing after prototyping as well, just to check if something is missing or everything is functioning as per plan. This is a proposed list of documentation that should be taken care of. A vision document in any case should come, either it's a new product or a new release. Vision document is done basically to define what is the long-term vision or the short-term vision of the product. It sets the objective for this phase of development. A problem definition document should be done, and this is mostly done in cases where the product already exists, just to define that what are the problems that we need to take care of in this particular release. Wireframes, like I said, they define page-to-page event of the product, so a detailed wireframing is always recommended. Wireframes and functional and technical specifications are sometimes combined in a lot of user experience processes where the screens are combined with what the screen is supposed to perform. In a lot of companies it is done separately as well, where functional and technical specifications are, they explain what are the requirements in particular phase of a product development cycle. A design documentation should be done where first part is what is required from a design standpoint, and the second part is what has been designed, and hence a design documentation to capture the application of design. If a new requirement comes in, how will the design be scalable, how to use this design for further release. And final release specifications. This is done from a perspective that this release captures only these specifications, and it must specify what from the larger pool has been left out for the next release. So yes, I think that is it, and we could probably take up the question and answers right now. Any questions, Sova? Yeah, so I have a question. What is functional and technical specs? Functional specs, I'll give you an example. Yeah, just hold on. Yeah, the functional and technical specs include what what a component is supposed to do. For example, if you are trying to build an application where you need to upload pictures and then present them in a certain format, those functional specifications would be, okay, please allow the application to upload multiple pictures at the same time, or allow the application to upload one picture at a time, and then select the kind of slideshow that you want. And you should be able to sort of set the duration of the slideshow. You should be able to set the priority of images and all those things. So functional specifications define what exactly and how exactly do you want a product to function, or let's say a component to function. The next question is, for agile products, what do you recommend, since we won't have time to do all the steps you mentioned? I agree. For agile products, what we generally do is we do very aggressive wireframing for, let's say, a week, where we try to capture or make rough screens of all the requirements. Now in this process, because we know that the time there's a time limit to everything, the decision making has to be very prompt. So after you do first level wireframes, we immediately get into the design bit of it, and we skip usability testing at times. What do we have in a vision document? Can it be valid for existing products also? Yes, let me explain a vision document. The vision document, for example, there was an entrepreneur who came to us who wanted to build a karaoke portal. And his simple vision document was, I want to build a karaoke portal where people can come record and then share their recording with other people. Now that was the brief given to us, but that was just a vision that the entrepreneur had. There were a lot of details that we then got into. For example, how will a user record a song? Will a user listen to the song and then record? Will a user would want to listen to the recording that he's done? Can the user store 5, 6 recordings and then choose one recording to publish? So all of these things eventually come out when you ask your clients a detailed question. How different is web experience design and mobile experience design? Well, the process is not very different. The device, since the device and the screen experiences are different, you have to modify the process according to that. For example, in a web experience aspect, we get a bigger screen or a larger screen to communicate with our users, whereas we have to use the same content. If you have to use the same content in a mobile platform, we have a limited screen or let's say a limited space to communicate the same thing. Hence, the number of steps might go up in terms of performing a task. So all of these decisions have to be taken from depending upon what device you're working on. For example, web could be very different from mobile, could be very different from a kiosk kind of an environment. So depending upon your device, you have to modify the UI to suit that particular environment. Uh, the next question is, does UX team take part in getting requirements that right? Yes, that is extremely important. Most of the times you will feel that a lot of people do not know how to define a requirement. For example, I gave you an example where there is a vision document. Now the vision document is a very broader set of requirements saying that, okay, I want a product to do X, Y, Z. But when you sit and detail everything out, there are a lot of possibilities in every sort of component. So the user experience design team has to sit with the management or the engineering or whoever is setting the vision document and write down very clear requirements in terms of get down to actual numbers. How many features do you want on a screen? How many will they change when you scroll them, or all those things. So you have to get down to the every little detail, and it always helps if a UX guy does it with the management, right? Gathering all these requirements. Then what is business analyst role? Um, See, business analyst role in a lot of companies is also trying to understand what do users in the market want right now. The user experience guy is looking at a certain set of requirements from a user perspective. If you create requirement, if you sort of convert your requirements into screens, what happens then? And those are the aspects that a user experience designer deals with. But what is the requirement in the market is probably a business analyst role, that we need to build a product which does all of these things. How should we evaluate the requirement of technology for end product release? The role of functional and technical specification document is to define requirements clearly to the technology team. As far as the evaluation, I particularly didn't understand how do you want to evaluate, but the role of user experience guy is to basically connect the technology team with the management team in terms of explaining what the requirements are to the technology teams in simple screen format, saying that we want to go from this screen to the other screen by doing these kind of tasks. Who creates a functional and technical document, user experience designer or business analyst? If the business analyst is very versed enough with creating requirements, the business analyst can do it. Otherwise, the user experience designers are always equipped to manage or create functional requirements. The business analysts sort of come into picture, for example, where the user experience guys do not have the domain knowledge. For example, if you were building a portal for, let's say, an insurance company, now the user experience guy does not have the knowledge of laws or specifications from an insurance perspective. Now those are the technical specs that come from a business analyst. But if you convert those specs given by the business analyst into screens, there are certain technical requirements that come out, which are basically the job of a user experience guy. Did you face any challenges in UX design for any project? Can you explain a case study? This is a very broad question, Suneet, but let me try to answer this. There are always challenges in every UX design project. The challenges are fairly high when you are not familiar with a particular domain. Like I gave you an example of, let's say, insurance, or if you're working in a specific finance domain, so you're not very well versed with the rules or the laws of finance, or so those are the challenges that the user experience design person has to face, because understanding of the business is very important for you to help the business work in a proper way. Is there any mechanism or tools available so that we can monitor the user behavior so that the UX guy can improve the existing feature or the workflow? We generally depend on Google Analytics a lot to understand how the users are behaving. The second tool, like I said, usability evaluations are done from time to time. The best thing to do is go and observe your user while they're performing the task or while they're using their applications. Just go and observe them. Don't ask them too many questions. Just go and observe them, see where they're facing a problem, see what they don't understand, and that's the best approach to building a better user experience, talking to your customers as much as possible and understanding their point of view rather than enforcing yours on them. How do we decide about colors? Well, that's tricky. Colors generally come, we take the first cue from branding. We take the second cue from the amount of content that there is on the screen. The third in terms of flow of the task. So the colors should not be very intrusive to design. They should help the experience. For example, I should know exactly that I need to go at the top of the screen to start a task or at the bottom of the screen to start a task. Now the colors, if placed properly, will only help us to understand, okay, what is important and what is not important in the screens. Do we do any testing related to colors as well? Yes, we do. We generally do a lot of testing related to colors as well. You need to, if somebody understands colors, for example, we never recommend a red for a button ourselves, but there are a lot of sites now using red buttons, but we do not use red unless that's a alert sign or something negative, at least in the Indian context. So all of these things you learn eventually when you do more and more testing, or you talk to your users, or you observe them while performing the task and how colors affect them. What tools / technology / languages according to you is must for UX person? See, for a UX person, what is most important is an understanding of the users. Look at everything from a user's perspective. What is also very important is that you understand the business. What is the business trying to do? What is the business trying to achieve? And what is the objective that you're trying to meet? As far as tools and technologies are concerned, if you're asking about how do you build the wireframes, we use PPTs to build wireframes. We use Microsoft Visio. We use Axior. So these are a few tools that you can use to build wireframes, and wireframes is the essence of user experience design. This is where you're discussing with all the teams. This is where you're talking about the requirements, or discussing the requirements. So you just simply have to understand that every requirement translates into a set of screens, or a certain UI. So you need to build that UI to see whether it works or not. Can you please provide me a couple of examples where I can have a look at the user interface designs developed by your firm/company? Yes, sure, George. You could go to our site eastvillage.co.in. You could go to the portfolio section. We've uploaded a few examples of our work. They are mostly in the enterprise domain, so also in the mobile domain, and we've created a few portals. But there are a lot of projects that we cannot disclose. We're bound by certain agreements because they're confidential. But the projects that we can have been uploaded. Is there any degree or exam related to usability? Well, HFI hosts gives out certain certifications for usability. Those are helpful if you want to take up. Otherwise, there is no particular exam related to usability. Usability sort of comes up with sensitivity, or let's say more you look, more you learn kind of a thing. Okay, there's another question. Any best practices to follow while designing mailers, since we have experienced mails landing in spam due to design elements? There are two. I always recommend that you should send out two kind of mailers. One which are table-less mailers, and one which are with tables. Again, please do not use any images in the mailers. Avoid as many images as possible. Maximum, if you have a logo, you put the logo, but you put the alt text as well, so that if the logo does not load up, at least your text will. So use as much text as possible in mailers. The beauty of HTML is that it gives you enough flexibility to at least beautify your mailers without using images. So look at those kind of options if you can. What are the points we need to be taken care of in mailer design? Okay, we've done that, I think. Usually client don't have long time. Do you think this process takes long time and manpower? No, actually this process does not take much time. This process can be done quite quickly if the management or the teams within the company are willing to do this process. If you look at closely, these are not processes that go over a period of time. They could probably last for the meetings could last for, let's say, a day or a two maximum, and the overall process could last for a month or 2 months at the most. Wireframe, graphic designing, prototyping, usually client don't know. Oh, this is a continuation of the. What is the impact of HTML5 and CSS3 on modern web? Well, the impact is not clear as yet. It's too new to say that it has impacted the web in any which way. We've seen a lot of sites with HTML5, but I still feel that the sophistication that Flash provides is not there in HTML5. Obviously, there are certain other advantages, but I still haven't seen a greater impact of HTML5 on the web yet. Are there any more questions? Yeah. Any more questions? That's it. Okay. Thank you, guys. You can write to me. There's my email address, etc. is given there. You can write to me anytime if you have more questions or queries.
Thank you, Ms. Agarwal, for your session on experience design process for product development. It was indeed an enlightening session. I would also like to thank our participants for their support in making the webinar a huge success. The recording of this webinar will be available on techgeek.com tomorrow along with your queries answered. Before signing off, I would like to make a couple of announcements for our users. We are currently running the Great Indian Programming League, the biggest online programming contest in India. You can just solve simple puzzles and win exciting prizes daily. Log on to techgeek.com/code contest for more information and to participate. We're also running logo contest for Happiest Mind Technologies Private Limited. It is open for all professional designers and for the designers at heart too. Submit your entry and stand a chance to win $2,000 in cash. Please log on to techgeek.com/logo contest for more information. Thank you. See you all next Wednesday at 5 p.m.